For Environment.
Acting Chair. I would like to take the opportunity this afternoon to really celebrate the career of one of the titans of waste management and resource recovery in South Australia, and that is Mr John Phillips OAM, who is retiring at the turn of the financial year after 31 years at the helm of KESAB Environmental Solutions. John Phillips became the Executive Director of KESAB when I was 3 years old, Mr Chair, and during the last 31 years or so, he has worked tirelessly to ensure that South Australia's heritage and our state's legacy as a leader in waste management and resource recovery really is something that South Australia can be proud of. John Phillips has been at the forefront of social entrepreneurship in this state. He has developed KESAB into an organisation with a phenomenally strong brand and one that is known first and foremost for doing good for our environment and doing good for our communities all across South Australia, not just in metropolitan Adelaide, albeit their work here is important, but also in a very significant way in the towns that are found scattered throughout regional South Australia. John Phillips has expanded the remit of KESAB, an organisation in itself which has been around since 1968, and during his time of leadership, he has made KESAB a relevant, well-known and effective organisation. I want to talk about some of the achievements of KESAB under John's leadership, but also to pay tribute to the man himself. And this is a man whose commitment to community service is woven into his DNA. It's not just heading a not-for-profit organisation like KESAB. It is also a lifetime's work which includes a long period of time being associated with APEX Australia, becoming the national president of that organisation in 1986 and becoming a life governor of APEX in 1988. He has also served on the board of the Scouts Association, demonstrating that ongoing and consistent commitment to community here in South Australia. In 1989, Mr Chair, he was with the Waste Management Commission and raised the issues of biodegradable plastics, which Coles New World were to introduce that would break down in sunlight. As we know, more of these types of products have entered the market, and we are addressing them through the legislation currently before Parliament dealing with single-use plastics. John was before his time on this issue. It's taken more than 30 years for us to deal with it in legislation, but John has been both an inspiration and a support for me and the Marshall Liberal government as we have driven forward this single-use plastic reform, which we know is desired by the community of South Australia and is being supported by John Phillips and KESAB. We would be well aware of much of the work of KESAB. Of those who are old enough to remember, they might recall KESAB's anti-litter slogans such as "Drop Something Sport," "Put It in a Bin." Then there was Tidy Towns and Baza the Bunyip. These were all programmes that were developed and nurtured under John's leadership, and he is certainly someone who has pushed the boundaries when it comes to the waste management sector and provided that sector the leadership here in South Australia that it has needed. And in more recent times, since I've been the Minister, John has been the President of the Waste Management and Resource Recovery Association SA branch. John has also been a huge supporter of South Australia's pioneering container deposit legislation that's now been replicated in other states, and he's been a keen advocate for that. Would like to see it developed and enhanced, and the franchise that it covers expanded. Certainly something that this government is taking a really good look at the moment. John was awarded the Order of Australia in 2004 through his work for the environment through KESAB and his community association through APEX Australia. He's someone who approaches his job with humility, with decency, and has left a phenomenal legacy during his professional career in this state. And I know John doesn't want to be heading off into the sunset. He'll continue involvement with recycling and resource recovery in this state. I wish John all the best for his retirement, and I'm sure people from both sides of this House will join me in congratulating John Phillips for his many years of service to this state.